Hey everyone, welcome back to Thistle Hill Farmstead. This is our third video in the video series of repairing our Rockshaft valve on our John Deere 3038e compact tractor. If you haven't caught the first two videos in the series, I'll put a link up here in the corner to those videos, and also there'll be a link in the description, or links in the description below, so you can catch up on the first video where I did some troubleshooting and removed the Rockshaft valve. Second video was actually disassembling that valve, and then this video is reassembling it and putting it back on the tractor. So thanks for joining us, and let's get busy. It's been a couple of days now, and I've got my parts in from the John Deere dealer, and what I have ordered is these parts here. I ordered the Rockshaft control valve shaft. I ordered the new key. I ordered this little shaft. I ordered a couple of O-rings that need to go on these shafts. I ordered a new friction washer. It was pretty much completely gone. And then I ordered a new bolt because, if you remember, I kind of beat that bolt up trying to get everything out. So and I ordered a new gasket. So here we go. Over here on the parts list and the cost, the gasket was $12. The O-rings were $1. The shaft key was $1. The shaft was $47, and the I guess that's the Rockshaft control valve shaft, was $71. And then the gasket and the other washers were not very much. So the shafts were the two expensive parts. So here's all my goodies. Let's dump out the John Deere bag and see what we've got. We got our two shafts. So this is the bigger one, and I'll show you some of the part numbers here. LVA 19977, and I believe that's called the Rockshaft control valve shaft. And then this one, the short one, is AM 127132, and I believe this one's just called shaft on the exploded view. We have our friction washer, which is just kind of some kind of fiber washer. The one that came out of it, I don't know if I even kept that or not. It was basically just in pieces. That's a TR 110329. Here is our key that goes in the shaft. Here is the nut that goes on the end of the shaft, the two O-rings, and of course the gasket. Let's start the reassembling process. So we've got this new shaft. I'm looking at the exploded view. We have a washer that goes on there, and then we have our new O-ring. Okay, come on, baby. I don't want to stretch it too much. All right. Okay. And then that will just slide in. Well, it's nice and tight there. There we go. I'm not sure why that didn't go in easier than that. Then we'll push the valve in to get this past there. Okay, so there's the first one. Let's get our second one. Get our washer. Our new O-ring. Okay. Slide that in. There we go. Okay, so those are in. And then we have a couple more washers that go on here. And then this part goes like this. We have another washer. And we have our C-clip here. Push this on. Okay. So I like to spin these just to make sure they're in the groove good. And then this one. Let me push this out just a bit. There we go. That one goes on there. Come on. Slide back in. There we go. Another washer and the other C-clip. I can't get that on with my hand. It's too small. There we go. Make sure that's in the groove. Give them a spin. Okay. So that is back on there. And both are moving good. Let's go to the other side now. Wipe my hands off a little bit. Now we'll put our key in. What did I do with the key? Slide this back on. And I'm going to take, this may be a futile effort here, but I'm going to take one of these old O-rings. And I think, matter of fact, I may have some new O-rings. And I'm going to put an O-ring behind there to try to eliminate any leakage that may happen from where I boogered up that shaft. Let's see. Let's try one of these. Okay. So I'll put that up against there, and then I'll put my friction washer on. I don't know why this shaft is it's kind of expanded there at the end. Okay, got my friction washer on. That's the old shaft, we don't need that. And let me find my key now. What do I do with it? All right, let me take my key and put in here. All right, we have our key in there. And now we just take, let's get to this piece. And it's going to go on here. Like that. Line the keyway up. You can't see me doing that, but I'm lining it up with that keyway on the back. There we go. All right, and I'll hold this up where maybe you can see the keyway on the back. It's lined up with that. Now we've got this piece that goes on. We've got a small washer that goes on. We've got 4 flat washers that go on. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, then we've got this piece that goes on. Now this piece has a little mark on it there that lines up with the mark on the shaft, just like that. And you slide it on. Okay, and then we put our nut on. This is a 15mm socket. Okay. All right, that's pretty good. That's got a little bit of tension on it, but not a ton of tension. And that's what you want. That's what this friction washer back here is supposed to do for us. Now the next part is to put this little piece back on, and we need to line up. There's a hole in the shaft here that we need to line up with our hole here. And I don't think, does this have any kind of washer? It does not. So nothing between it and the case. So let's see. I lost my hole. There it is. Okay, come on, get on there. Okay, why is that not sliding on? That should just slide right on there. What's happening? Okay, I see the shaft had kind of pushed out the back a little bit like this, and it wasn't giving it. I mean, it was on, but it wasn't lining up with the hole. That's what I couldn't see. So I just need to hold my hand over this. There we go, and then it lines up perfectly. And then I get my spring pin and put that in place. Okay. And then take drop that in. Okay, so there we go. Everything's back in place now. This moves freely. this moves, and the way that works, and look at that, no leftover parts except that old nut. That's good. So again, the way this thing operates is you've got this valve here that controls the 3-point hitch. This part connects to your handle that goes up to the operator station, and as you move that handle, it pushes in. The combination of these two levers push in on that shuttle valve there. And the way they work in unison is that this lever is connected to a rod that goes back to the 3-point hitch arm, and it feeds back where in the travel that 3-point hitch is. So when you pull back, forward is all the way down, and then as you pull back, it activates that valve to raise your 3-point hitch, and as it comes up, this other shaft rocks back, and then at some point will release the valve, stopping the lift of the 3-point hitch. So that's what keeps you, or gives you, the ability to lift the hitch. It's just a certain amount of distance. So those work in unison or conjunction with each other to operate this valve. So as I move one forward or back, the other one will move forward or back and release the pressure as it goes. All right, and I've already cleaned the gasket up or off on this, so that should be good to go. Now it's just a matter of putting it back on the tractor. We'll do that and test it out. Now it's just a matter of putting it back on in the reverse order that I took it off. Now I've cleaned up the face here and got all the gasket material off, and I've got my new gasket, and that's probably going to be the hardest part of this reinstallation process, is getting the gasket to stay where it needs to stay while I hold this heavy thing up and put it back on. Maybe I can slide a couple of screws in, bolts in, and get it in that way. Let's do it. I'll try to get the unit back in there before I put the gasket on, because I don't want to rip the gasket. Now that I got it in there, I'm going to slide the gasket on. And I'm glad I didn't try to put it in there with the gasket on it, because I'm sure I would have just ripped the gasket up. So let's see if we can slide the gasket in behind there and get some bolts in it. Started. Remember the short ones go on the bottom down here. Do a quick look from the top. Yes, it looks good. I don't know what the torque spec on those hex head bolts are. I'm darn sure no, I'm not over tightening them with that little 3/8 inch ratchet, but I'll call my John Deere dealer tomorrow and talk to their tech department and find out what the torque specs for those are. But I think for right now, it's going to be fine. All right, I think I've got everything reconnected, so let's start the tractor and see if fluid shoots out anywhere. Let me go get the key. Let me do a quick recheck of everything. Got this hose on, got this one, this one. Didn't loosen that one. Got my solenoid plugged in. This line back here is reconnected. Okay. Let's give her a crank and see what happens. Let me make sure this is all the way down. Perfect, everything seems to be working okay. I don't see any fluid shooting out anywhere. So let me go ahead and put this linkage arm back on and my control lever for the operator station. And then we'll do some real testing. Now this thing is a pain in the butt because it's that little washer, and I hope this thing is not bent up a lot because it was really getting put through the paces before when this thing was stuck and it was just bending it. I'm going to go back and do my trick with dental floss on this so I don't lose it. All right, I've got my little piece of dental floss tied onto my C-clip here, so in case I lose it, well, maybe not in case I lose it, but when I lose it, I'll be able to find it again. So let me see if I can get this in here. Ouch. Did I get it on there? I think I did, even though I got my finger at the same time. But it is on there. All right, let's connect up the back portion to a 3-point lift arm. Man, that's night and day difference from what was going on before with this thing, and it not even moving. If you remember at the first of the video, I was having to bang on this thing to get it to move even. Well, let me see what's happening here. Can't get my pin back in. So it may have indeed bent this arm a little bit. Oh yeah, I can see that is twisted, so I'm going to take this piece off and go straighten it out. Can you see how that piece is twisted there? Let me go see if I can straighten that back out. Yeah, that's how much force it was putting on that and not even moving it. Alright, I was able to get that straightened back out by putting it in a vise and then just twisting it. So let's see if that helps out my cause here any. My washer on and see if I can get my clip in. Yes, okay, that's much better, much better. Okay, now hopefully I can adjust this to the way it needs to be. And let me go ahead and put my lever back on. Alright, that's working. However, now that I pull this back, that's as far as that goes. So I think I may have to take this nut off. And even though I lined that up with that shaft, I'm going to have to rotate it back a little more because it's hitting the bottom there. So let's do that. Okay, let's see what it looks like up top. If it goes all the way back to 9. And it does. It goes all the way to 1. Okay, good. That's where it should be. So let's put this nut back on. So we're just off one spline there. Okay, I think I might have got it a little too tight. Let's see how it moves. Well, that's okay. You don't want it to be too loose. All right, so that's working now. Let's get this on. And not sure where this needs to be, so let's start it up again and see what we get. Got it all the way in the down position now. Okay, so let's move it up. Okay, see nothing. Okay, let's see what happens. Let me back us up here. That is working perfectly now. It has never worked that well. I don't think from the day I've owned the tractor that 3-point hitch Rockshaft valve has worked properly, because I have never been able to get it to go to a certain number and stop. And I've always asked myself, why is this like this? Why would this be like this? And I looked online, I looked everywhere, and nobody had any answers, and nobody else was complaining that theirs was doing that. But I think that this tractor may have sat out, or something happened to it before I got it, and it just got water in those components or rusted them up or something, because it's never really worked properly. But man, it's smooth now. Awesome. I'm going to do some more adjustments. Get it go up all the way and then stop, and then we'll put the tire back on. We'll call it done. I've got it adjusted now where when I pull it back to 9, it goes all the way up. It will stop before it the pump binds. So let's start it up and see how it goes. It's all the way down at 1 now. That's 2, 3, 4, and it's stopping perfectly now. 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I go all the way up to 9, and it stops without binding the pump. So that's great. And then I can let it back down, so I go to 5, and it stops. And it was not doing that before. It was just dropping all the way down, obviously because none of this was working properly. I am very happy. So let's put everything back together. Okay, now everything's buttoned back up. It's time to do the heavy lifting. Put the tire back on. Now this is not too bad because the tires do not have fluid in them or liquid. They're just air filled, so they're not too bad. But still, they're heavy. Yes, I do. Oh, so let's see if this puts my gun out a little further so I can get on these a better. Okay. Got it. Well, if you've hung in here with me this long, you'll know that I was able to get everything back together. I was able to use that existing Rockshaft manifold, that it wasn't damaged that much. And since I've reassembled everything and put it back on the tractor, I have used the tractor quite a bit. I've done some bush hogging and some other work around the farm, and it's not leaking. Thank goodness. So I really dodged a bullet on that. I felt like such an idiot when I drove that shaft out of there and then realized what I did. But thankfully, it worked out okay. So thanks again for watching. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. It helps us out a lot. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. That really helps out the channel a lot also. See you next time.